are listening to the 90 Days Later podcast with Anna Charles, episode 198. Welcome to the 90 Days Later podcast, where we talk about what really happens when you take a break from drinking. And it turns out to be the best thing you've ever done. I'm Anna, coach to high achievers who are done waking up with regret and ready to feel in control around alcohol. If you've ever wondered what your life could look like with less wine and more you, you're in the right place. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the 90 Days Later podcast. I am so glad you are here, and a particular special welcome for those of you who join me every week. So good. Now listen, before we dive in, I want to invite you to something special. This Friday, the 19th of September at 12:30 Eastern US, 5:30 PM UK, I'm running a free event called the Take Back Control and Experiment Your Way to Alcohol Freedom this sober October. It's going to be a webinar. It's going to be live. And if you have ever felt like alcohol is your only way to switch off or escape, or you use it in order to get to sleep, or you use it to celebrate, right? This is for you. Because what we're going to do is we're going to run a live experiment together, and I want to show you how to take back control without relying on willpower or white knuckling or any of the other things that are kind of the subtexts really to the usual sober October. I also just want to kickstart this in a way that that really actually speaks to the way I work with curiosity-driven approaches. So if you want to be on that, you can either go to my Instagram profile at the Alcohol Freedom Coach and comment control on any of my recent reels, or you could just click on the link in the show notes. All right, so today we're diving into a pattern I see again and again and again and again. And this is drinking to escape. Basically drinking to escape our lives to some degree, even for people who say, look, Anna, I actually have a really lovely life, right? So, and I want you to notice right away that this isn't about weakness. It's really about the brain learning a shortcut, right? That is its established way with alcohol. At some point, your mind figured out that a drink or two or three would quieten the chatter, would numb the stress, and basically let you off the hook for just a little while, right? We sort of walk around with all these responsibilities, and a drink is a way for you to escape into your bubble. And then over time, it then linked alcohol with a sense of relief, a relief that, there is a way out of this, if only, for a few hours. And here's the deal. Once your brain learned that association, it feels incredibly hard to say no. It really does. And this is all to do with brain health and how the brain operates. But the counter argument I want to offer you today is that drinking does not make the stress, the grief, the pressure, the noise, the uncertainty go away. It only presses pause, right? And when you wake up tomorrow, when you go to bed even that same night, those same feelings are waiting for you. Only you now feel a little bit more depleted. I want you to imagine you have all these feelings. You kind of push them into a cupboard. Going to push all the grief and all the chatter about overwhelm, I've got to do this, you sort of get all of that stuff and you squish it into a cupboard. Well, when you open that cupboard the next day, that's all still there, right? There's no other way out. We just have to go through this. So I want to start by really putting some real world scenarios to this and just think about how this may be showing up in your life. And these are some of the things I see. These may not apply directly to you, but maybe, you have other ones that are similar. Maybe you have a long day with juggling deadlines at work and family responsibilities. And then you just pour a glass because the thought of handling one more thing just feels impossible. Maybe at 10 o'clock, your body is exhausted, but your mind will not switch off. and you tell yourself, if I don't get some sleep, tomorrow's going to be a disaster, right? I need something to knock me out. Or maybe you're dealing with something heavier, right? Much heavier. Maybe the end of a relationship, caring for an aging parent, financial stress, or maybe even grief. And you think, I just need a break from feeling like this, right? It's a very human, natural reaction. I don't want you to feel bad about this. And here's another one, just this one was certainly me. Perhaps you're the one everyone relies on, or maybe you put yourself in that position and you wonder, why do I keep doing this? Right? And maybe you long for just one moment of being off duty. And that drink then becomes a signal, right? Finally, I'm off the clock. Finally, I can stop holding it together. This is me time. Now listen, in those moments, you are not craving the wine itself. Even if you think you are craving the sense of escape. Now here's where it gets tricky, because we kind of get into this trap. The more you escape, right, from these emotions by drinking, the more your brain is going to learn that emotions like this are unsafe, are things that we should run away from. The more your brain learns that you actually cannot handle worry or stress or sadness on your own. You can't do this without numbing out. And it's that kind of growing belief that chips away at your resilience. And then you fall into a very common mindset trap. I'll cut back once life calms down. But listen, life rarely calms down. There's always some new storm, the next crisis, the next family drama, the next headline in the news, right? We don't live in these kind of lab type conditions where there's nothing happening around us. So I want you to tell yourself, so when you tell yourself, I just want to get through this, and then you feel that you need to just get through this, and you then use drinking to cope. Except alcohol is not helping you to get through it. It is quietly making everything feel bigger and heavier and harder to manage, at least on their own, right? They're bigger and heavier and harder to manage. And so therefore you have even more of a reason to have a drink to get through it. So how do we shift out of that, right? How do you do this differently? Well, here's what I want to offer. This shift of peace of mind, right, does not come from turning the volume of everything that's going on around you round to zero. I want you to imagine if you had a knob like on a radio, you could just turn it right back to zero and you'd hear none of this. You'd feel none of this. You'd see none of this stuff going on, right? Firstly, that is just impossible. And secondly, if we can't keep looking for that, then there's sensation that if it can't be that, then I'm stuck. So instead, it comes from learning how to respond to the noise in your head. We don't want to shut it off. We want to learn how to respond to it. This looks like the following. Firstly, normalizing emotions. Literally telling yourself it's okay to feel this way, nothing has gone wrong, is such a game changer. It's so simple. It makes so much difference. If you're feeling stress or sadness or anger, this is all part of the human experience. You know that scene, maybe you do, from The Sound of Music, one of my favorite films, when they're up, the children are with Maria and she's about to sing them, what's that, Do a Dear, that song, the name of it escapes me right now. And then one of the children says, can't we do this every day? And Maria says, don't you think you get a little bored of it? And that's the point here. We don't experience all the happiness without some of the downside. So first you want to normalize those emotions. It's how we rock as humans, right? We feel stuff. I want you to create safety in your body and remind yourself this feeling is not dangerous. My body knows how to process it. We are built to know how to process feelings. It's part of our programming, but we are taught by society that we can't do this and we're incapable. But this small reframe that my body knows how to process this is a signal to your nervous system that you are safe. You can challenge catastrophic thinking. Instead of spiraling into, I'm never going to get through this, try asking instead, okay, what's the next small step I can take? Big problems do feel less impossible when you shrink them down to the next action. And if that still feels scary, shrink it again. If that still feels scary, shrink it again. Right? This is how we get into, well, I think I could do that. I think I could certainly, if we're worried about, feel scared about writing a report, well, I think I can probably sit at my chair at the desk. Yeah, I think I can do that. Right? What's the next thing? I think I could maybe open my laptop. Yeah, I think I could do that. And we want to walk ourselves into this, right? Also, asking for help, right? So many of the brilliant people I work with pride themselves on toughing it out. In fact, this is how they have got to the top of the pops in their industries, right? They have built out brilliant careers for themselves. And they feel, I should be able to do this. I mean, this is just alcohol. This is just wine. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? People tell me all the time, this is so ridiculous. But I want to offer it isn't. And there's no harm in asking for help, because true resilience is not just kind of pushing through and telling yourself, I should know better. It is knowing when to lean on others. Now, these are not abstract ideas. These are skills. I talk all the time about this being a case of learning skills. The more you practice doing these new things, the more your brain is going to learn, okay, we're getting the hang of this. I can feel this. I'm feeling, I can sit with this. I can do this thing. Yeah, I don't need to escape. And maybe to start with, you just want a teacher that you don't need to escape immediately. Maybe you sit with it for a minute, right? And then you expand beyond that. Because here's what I want you to truly remember. You are so much more capable than your brain tells you, right? I want you to think back on everything you've overcome in your life, all the setbacks, the challenges, the heartbreaks. How many times did you think, I can't do this? And yet you did. This is the proof that your brain conveniently forgets in the moment. It is underestimating you. But resilience is such a powerful emotion. It grows when you stop escaping and when you start proving to yourself that you can feel hard emotions and still carry on. There are only two outcomes, really, when you're feeling overwhelmed and this desire to escape. There's going to be greater suffering or greater resilience. Drinking to escape is going to just pile on more suffering. Today, the next day, the next day, the next day. You can even then you'll be thinking out further into the future. Oh my gosh, if I carry on doing this, what is that going to mean about me? That thought alone creates more suffering in the immediate day. But experimenting with different tools is going to build resilience. This is what I'm all about, right? Resilience is a superpower. The superpower that helps to make alcohol irrelevant. So the next time you think, I need a drink, I just can't sit with this, I can't feel this way, I can't cope, I want you to pause. I want you to take a breath and really ask what you're seeking, right? And if you want support building that resilience, this is exactly what I do in my one-on-one private coaching. Together, we will make alcohol small and unimportant in your life. Even if you want to carry on drinking, there's no problem having a drink. We just don't want to make it the star of the show. We will do so that you feel calm and capable in charge no matter what is going on around you. So book a free discovery call with me through the link in the show notes or go to 90dayslater.co and I will give you a simple plan, right, that will get you to where you want to be, and we will start straight away. And listen, if this episode resonates with you, don't miss my free webinar I mentioned at the top of the episode. Take back control and experiment your way to alcohol freedom this sober October. It's going to be fun. All right, we're experimenting as I'm so sick to death of all the boring, same old sober October things that are going on now, the normal challenges. So this Friday, we're going to dig even deeper into how to stop escaping, and I'm going to teach you a way to start building real resilience with a live experiment you'll be able to try straight away, and you'll be able to take away, right, from the webinar. The replay is going to be available through the weekend, but only until Sunday midnight my time, so UK time. And that's it. So I want you to go ahead and sign up for that. You'll find the link in the show notes, or if you're confused about that and you're listening to this and you can't see it, you can just email me, Anna@90dayslater.co, and I will email you the link. And Finally, if you know someone else who's doing Sober October, maybe you're doing it as a gang of you, as like a mini challenge, share their link to this webinar with them. It is always more fun to experiment together. All right, that's it for today. Remember, escaping your feelings never builds freedom. Feeling, experiment, and learning to trust yourself does. I will see you next week. If this episode hit home and you're ready to explore what life could look like with alcohol in the back seat, let's talk. I work with people one-on-one who are ready to create the relationship with alcohol that works for them, so they feel powerful in their choices and at peace with their habits. Go to 90dayslater.co and click on Book a Call, or grab one of the free guides in the show notes to this episode. And if this podcast is helping you, a rating or review goes a long way to help others find this work too.